Well, my friends, the time is finally here as Google officially revealed their second generation foldable in the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. In some ways, it's built on top of the foundations from the first gen device, addressing some common complaints, but it's also drastically different in other ways from what I've seen in the original. At this point, I truly believe the 9 Pro Fold will be a super competitive option in the foldable market, and in this video, we're going to cover all the newest improvements. Of course, we have a lot more Pixel content in the pipeline, so if you want to stay in the know, stick around and subscribe to the channel. And while you're down there, maybe take a look at our 9 to 5 Google exclusive wallpaper packs you can access via our channel membership. Hit the join button to learn more. As I said, we did get some hands-on time with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and immediately I'd say the displays in Hinge have received the biggest upgrades. Both the inner and outer screens are very different from the first gen, with adjustments to the form factor, as the 9 Pro Fold is effectively a regular Pixel 9 now when closed, and the inner screen has been changed to have a much more squarish form factor with a similar aspect ratio to the OnePlus Open, meaning it should work better with app compatibility. Not to mention, ever since I've been using the Z Fold 6, I find these squarish screens to be more comfortable for everyday use, whether that's typing, filling out online forms, or using Google Maps, for example, where the more landscape, tablet-like form factor of the first gen felt a bit awkward at times. Either way, both screens on the 9 Pro Fold are significantly better now, to say the least, as they also carry the Super Actua branding, which basically means they can get incredibly bright, up to 27,000 nits peak, or around 1600 in HDR modes, which should help with visibility, especially on the inner screen, which was a pretty decent issue with the first gen Pixel Fold. Paired with a much less noticeable crease, at least compared to the Z Fold 6, I feel the new Pixel Fold will be a significantly better viewing experience. And that second massive improvement has to do with the updated hinge mechanism. With my hands-on time, I can easily say it's a huge step in the right direction. I notice it opens a lot smoother, feels more satisfying to interact with, and opens completely flat with no effort, as it should have been on day one, if we're being honest here. I still wish there was some Google or Pixel branding on the actual hinge itself, like Samsung does with their device, but that is very superficial. On a technical level, these changes alone make the Pixel 9 Pro Fold feel like a completely different class of device, especially when looking at the first gen. As for the overall design, there's been quite a few changes as well. From what we can see, the 9 Pro Fold is very closely aligned with the regular Pixel 9 series, featuring flat side rails that do feel more stable to interact with compared to the rounded, glossy finish on the Pixel Fold 1. But a huge design change that does feel surreal in person is how thin this phone feels. At 10.5 millimeters thin, when closed, it's incredibly close to the feel and hand of a normal smartphone, maybe about 2 millimeters thicker than the Pixel 8, for example, and when unfolded, it is razor thin at only 5.1 millimeters. For context, the Z Fold 6 unfolded comes in at 5.6, and I was already praising them for how modern and futuristic it felt to have this gorgeous edge-to-edge screen being so thin, so as you can imagine, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold will feel even better. Touching on another aspect of the design real quick, I will say I do feel the updated camera module is a bit awkward to look at maybe. I understand why they didn't continue going with the camera bar, since it would have clashed with the thin, minimal aesthetic they seem to be going for, plus it probably would have added some unnecessary weight, but something in me doesn't love this module. It's not ugly, but does appear too bulky and a little less refined than other flagships perhaps, but at least for now, that's the least of my concerns. In terms of internals, the 9 Pro Fold is powered by the Tensor G4 chip paired with 16 gigs of RAM, which is a significant upgrade from the outdated Tensor G2 with 12 gigs of RAM in the previous model. Of course, we haven't had time to test it out fully, but I'm pretty sure the G4 will hold up well in this new device, way better than the G2 did, although the insanely thin form factor still might present heat issues, so we'll definitely have to check on that. And lastly, during our hands-on time, we did get to see some new software features that are coming to the 9 Pro Fold. Most notably, there is a new camera mode called Made You Look that plays fun little animations on the cover screen while taking a photo to try and make your subject smile, which is nice. Honestly, it kind of reminds me a bit of Motorola and how they implement these fun, custom features simply because it's a good experience. There might be more foldable exclusive features, but that's the only one that I saw during my hands-on time. Sure, the Pixel Studio app will have a nice UI for the inner screen. We also got an updated weather interface, and I'm sure Pixel screenshots plus Gemini Live will also be adjusted for that inner screen form factor, but otherwise, the foldable experience seems to be pretty similar on the software side. Maybe Android 15 changes things, but if you can guess what I'm gonna say, We'll have to wait and see. I do want to talk about camera for you guys as well, but honestly, we didn't have much time to check them out during our hands-on. We know the hardware is very similar to the Pixel Fold 1 with a 10.8 megapixel telephoto, a 10.5 megapixel ultrawide with a slightly wider field of view compared to last year, and a 48 megapixel main lens. All have similar sensor sizes and aperture ratings, so it seems like Google pulled a Samsung here and kept the same cameras as the last gen. I'm sure the Tensor G4 and their computational photography will make a difference in performance and capabilities to some degree, but in terms of actual hardware, it's very similar to last year. Thankfully, we are getting some new camera features like Video Boost, which is finally coming to the Fold series, which I'm very happy for. We're also getting Add Me, of course, Pro Controls, a macro mode, Magic Editor upgrades, and I'm sure much more. As I've been saying, this is something we will have to do some testing on. Personally, I really would have liked to see pro level cameras like the name implies, and I'm still not sure how to feel about it yet, but we'll just have to test it out. That's all we have to share for now, but based on my brief hands-on time, I'm pretty confident I'll be trading in my personal Pixel Fold for the 9 Pro Fold and probably won't be looking back. As a whole, I love the push for the thinner form factor. I'm happy we have a Fold device with the latest processor from Google. I love the display upgrades, and in person, the taller aspect ratio feels perfect for my needs. I'm glad we're finally getting Video Boost. I'm happy to have a more modern physical design language. I'm glad we are finally getting Video Boost, and overall, I love that it seems Google has put the Pixel Fold series on the same pedestal in terms of feature parity as their other flagship devices, which has been my complaint about the OG Pixel Fold since day one. The only thing I have some concerns about is the cameras, as they seem to be a marginal improvement over the first gen Pixel Fold at best, but I do believe they are better than the Z Fold 6 I'm using now. So to me, if I'm looking for the best foldable that can give me the best camera experience in challenging situations, I'm gonna put my money on the Pixel Fold. Either way, let me know what you think of the new release this year. Does it seem like the Fold is a massive upgrade, or will you be sticking with your first gen device? Leave a comment and let me know. Technically, we have until September before the actual release anyway, so there's plenty of time to think about it, but in the meantime, I'm getting out of here. Huge shout out to our channel members on screen right now, and thank you so much for supporting our Pixel coverage. There's a lot more on the way, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.